It has been a while since I have done a garden tour. There have been a lot of changes around the backyard, and I'm very excited to share those with you today. Let's get started. One of the biggest changes you might notice is the fence. Let's start with the old beds, and then I'll talk a little bit about some of the new ones, as well as the new little in-ground flower garden. Here is our onion bed with the big freeze. We weren't certain our onions were going to survive, but they did. We also had some tatsuri here, but given the extensive weather change, this is bolting and going to seed. Here is one of my black velvet nasturtiums. It is actually doing the best out of almost all of them. Here is the strawberry bed, getting a lot of flowers. Also added some peas over there. I also received some strawberry starts from Stark. Not sure how long it'll take those to flower. Here is a mouse melon that I transplanted recently. In this bed we have a cucumber, another nasturtium, some brassicas, most of which actually got eaten up by a rabbit, which is why that cage is there. This cauliflower is from before the frost. I actually don't think that it's going to develop a head. This actually went to seed and then was an animal snack. These onions were from onion bulbs that I planted over a year ago, and they are really taking off this year. Initially I had some pak choi here, and you can see that it pretty much got eaten. Also, the remnants of something else that got eaten. This is a squash of some kind, and it is actually doing quite well. Also have some more peas. That is probably the biggest thing that I lost in the freeze, so I had to really restart all of those over. In this bed, I had a lot of brassicas, some cilantro. I think I just threw a seed mix down, and you can see that some of the brassicas are bolting. Again, I think that might have had something to do with the freeze. That might also be broccoli rabe, who really knows. Then another nasturtium that's actually doing quite well, and a lot of cilantro in this bed. There's quite a few peas. Again, these were all planted after that freeze that we received in Dallas. I'm not sure what this is coming up, but it's likely a weed and will need to come out. I am having a hard time with the cucumbers that I transplanted, but I did recently discover that they don't like to be transplanted, so that might have something to do with it. Here are some mustard greens that have actually been here since a little bit before the frost, so a few of them are bolting. There's also some trash in the bed. Whoops, that was a mouse melon. No clue where I planted that, but apparently I did plant it over here. This is the square foot lettuce bed that we put together. There's some parsley here, also another nasturtium. Some lettuce heads that are actually doing quite well. With this little bird feeder cover on them, we're actually able to stop the animals from eating them. You can see on these that we had a lot of animals come by and snack, but they are still making quite the beautiful lettuce heads. Also, you'll notice some more radishes that went to seed, the solar flare lettuce, and now that we're getting more sun, it is thriving. One of the newer beds that I believe I've shared before, we put kale, garlic, potatoes, and some carrots, and I'll walk us over there in just a second. These were actually planted before the freeze, and a few of them are still actually coming up, even though their foliage did die in the freeze. Potatoes were just recently planted and have really taken off. I probably do need to mulch around them. We have some kale, which I actually just took a lot off so we could eat it for breakfast one morning. We have a huge head of garlic right here. You'll see some seedlings in here. I'm not sure what they are. It might just be warm enough for them to come up, but I will keep checking and make sure they're not weeds. Also, who put a penny in here? Recently had an excellent carrot harvest. This entire area was previously all carrots. I did thin them out and left some of these purple carrots here to get a little bit larger. Some of the carrots that had just started to germinate, I did go ahead and leave in what is now our tomato bed for this season. I am still working on a few things. Here I am trying the Florida weave method, but I kind of did it incorrectly. These need to be stabilized a little bit. I already lost a tomato. Seems pretty early in the year for that. But I did a better job of labeling this year. This is a black from Tula that I got from Dallas Gardens. This is a Brad's Atomic Grape. Not certain what that one is. Got an Amish paste over there and a big rainbow. That's a mystery on the end. And then a Cherokee purple from Burpee over there. So now that we've taken a look at the beds that we've already seen, I'm going to show you around to some of the new beds, and I'm not gonna go in any particular order. Behind me is the onion bed. This is actually what Man of an Hour and I planted. I thought all of our onions were gonna die, and so every time we'd go to the store before the freeze, I would buy like a set of onions. And then we ended up having a ton. So we replanted some here, also planted some already dying leeks. Whoops. Most of them are doing quite well. Some of them that did fall over, and the soil we used actually had a pretty top-heavy bit of mulch, which has caused a few problems. I'll show you the dead leeks over here. They might not be dead. I've actually had a lot of luck with leeks coming back. Right here is our new potato bed, and eventually I'll have a video up of where I filled this bed so you can kind of see what I used to fill it. These are actually a little bit higher, so I thought they'd be great for potatoes. These were planted about 3 weeks ago, and we're already seeing a lot of leaves. Here is a second potato bed, and it was filled quite a lot later, so you can see only a few of them have started to grow leaves. Over here we previously had some bushes. We do actually have some plans to take this shed out, to add a little greenhouse with a smaller shed attached. We also have some plans for this area right here. This is probably my second new favorite thing. We did not do a very good job of prepping this area, so I imagine it is going to be filled with grass, but I did throw some seeds down, and you are starting to see some seedlings. So you can kind of see this mess behind me. Previously, this was an altar, and Man of an Hour actually took it all down, and then we were able to get a lot of the stumps out, but we are primarily focusing on flowers because we're not certain we're gonna be able to get those stumps out, and if we have to poison them, we definitely don't want any food in here. The fence is still a work in progress. We lost the banana tree in the freeze. My number one favorite thing about the garden this year is definitely the Greenstalk. It is a fun new toy, and I am very excited. Most of these herbs I actually purchased, but it does actually have quite a few more spots around it. You can see I've got some purple sage, a zinnia. This is actually marigolds, another zinnia, more purple sage, a fennel, which I've never grown before, pineapple sage, lemon variegated thyme, which I'm super excited about, fine curled parsley, purple basil, hot and spicy oregano, bouquet dill, and organic sweet lavender. There's a little tomato down here. This is a celebrity determinate. I'm gonna give it a try. This is also a bush cucumber. Gonna give that a try as well. I do have a little bit of a unique setup. I went ahead and bought the 5-story leaf and then added one of the original tiers to the bottom. The biggest reason that you did not see me fill this or anything like that is because I've actually found quite a few videos, so I will go ahead and link those down below. I am very excited for what the spring will bring us in this area, but we haven't forsaken our bucket gardens, and I'll show you what we currently have growing there. I have a black cherry tomato, a brassica, and a squash. I'm hoping that this will really help deter the vine borers this year with having the squash in a bucket. I've got another brassica here. Man of an Hour just transplanted this pepper. It's a Fresno. He's got a couple of other peppers over here. Another brassica right here. A new pepper that recently was transplanted. I think that's another Fresno. The dwarf saucy Mary. Here's our thorny blackberry. Our grape that has really come back from the freeze. Here is our lime tree. Really happy it got to come back outside. I asked Kid of an Hour what he wanted to plant this year, and he said apple trees. So that's what we bought, and hopefully we'll have apples before he graduates high school. On the table, I do have some tomatoes and eggplants that are hardening off right now. I will likely be donating most of these tomatoes. I'm not sure how many eggplants I will plant this year, but this will be our first year to hopefully get eggplants, as last year we planted our eggplants a little bit too late. This tomato I broke when I was pulling it from under the lights, and I'm really hoping by some miracle it comes back. You can actually see there might be something starting to form right there. Thank you for joining me in the garden today. This is the first garden tour of 2021. Hopefully there will be quite a few more. Thank you for watching. Be sure to fuel up on positivity.